Can you teach an old dog new tricks? And one just barked. How perfect is that? We'll find out the answer to that question in just a moment as the dogs continue to bark. Welcome, everyone, to the Content Profit Show. This is Jeff Herring, and we are doing things a little bit differently today. In our last episode, we had an MPG, a mystery profit guest that turned out being Captain Jim Palmer, founder of Dream Business Coaching, and one of my coaches, mentors. And that's why I teasingly said, can you teach an old dog new tricks? It'll be fun when he sees this replay. Because Jim has been in business for so long. He's a serial entrepreneur, lots of different income streams. I want you to watch his eyes in a few moments when you see what happens when we take his PDF lead magnet and turn it into another brand, another stream of income, and another really empire, content empire for Jim, all from a lead magnet. So what I want you to do is watch this with two thoughts in mind. One, what would it be like if I repurposed my content this way? What would it be like if I took a lead magnet and did this with it? And two, how can I get Jeff to do this for me like he's doing for Jim? Well, right down here, here. Underneath my name is jeffherring.com/apply. That's where you can go apply for a content profit seat, where I'll take your content and convert it into a profitable digital product, maybe even an empire, in 20 minutes or less. Go over there, fill out the form. I'll get back to you. We'll set it up. I would do it quickly because it is now the end of April. May is full. June has one slot left open, and now we're filling up July. Thanks to y'all for making this such a popular show. All right. And speaking of the show, let's get on with today's show. We're going to go from this picture to, I do have on something black in the other one, but it's a little bit different than what I have on now. Here we go. Hey, folks, I got a question for you. Can you take a lead magnet and convert it into a new digital empire? You're going to get the answer to that right after this. Hey folks, this is Jeff Herring, host of the Content Profit Show, where content creators become content profit makers. This is episode 60. Now, usually this is when I give announcements, right? But our MPG, our mystery profit guest, I am so excited about this person being here that we're going to jump right over to both of us. I want to introduce to you the man, the myth, the legend, the founder of the Dream Business Coaching, and my personal coach, Jim Palmer. Welcome.
Hey there, Jeffrey. How are you, buddy?
Another day in paradise, man. How about you?
Doing good also. Yeah, man. This technology is pretty freaking awesome.
Isn't it? This is the first time I've done one of these. It's going to be very impressive. We're doing a simulcast, folks, a simulcast. We're doing
on both of our platforms
and to Jim's world. Yeah. And you can,
which means I don't have to do my normal Wednesday show at 3:00. This is it.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah. 2 for 1 or maybe 3 for 1. So as we go in here, tell us a little bit about how you got into Dream Business Coaching, and then a little bit more about how you got into this work 3 days a week thing.
Yeah, so I started my first business in 2001. About 5 years later, we are doing about 300,000, but working my butt off. So I decided to work my butt off even harder and started a series of internet companies. About 2009, I had 4 internet businesses, and people were starting to approach me about how are you doing all this? And that's when I started coaching. I'm giving you the super fast abbreviated
Yeah,
version.
yeah.
So I've been coaching since 2009. Somewhere around, I'm going to say 2015. I look back and I said, God, I've been working 80 hours a week, but as you know, hard driving entrepreneurs, it's okay because it's mine. But I was starting to get a little tired. And I said, do I want the next 10 years to look like this? And I didn't. So I did a couple things. Number one, I bought my first boat and decided I want to have a 3-day weekend every weekend. So I stopped coaching calls on Friday and just got pretty busy Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But I had a 3-day weekend and I loved being on the boat. And then when Stephanie and I moved aboard that gorgeous boat right there, for 5 years, we were cruising up and down the coast, east coast of United States. I stopped coaching on Mondays because that was like we traveled Friday through Monday, and I made sure I was still in a nice marina with good Wi-Fi Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Jeff. And the way I figured that out was, could I work 3 days a week and still afford to live? Yes. It turns out if I make sure I'm very busy Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday,
Right.
and there's a more backstory, but that's in actually the report. I kind of detailed in the report you're going to work your magic on.
I love it. And speaking of the report, how'd you come up with you told me just a little bit ago that you just bought that name, Work 3 Days a Week.
So one of the things I've been doing, and through a lot of your mentorship as well with the whole content thing for the last, I've been a ferocious content marketer for at least 15 years, right? I've been very prolific in writing books, ebooks, courses, doing webinars, doing my own Dream Business Academy, all that stuff. But today, since we're temporarily on land, we're not on our boat anymore. And I started getting back into writing, and I started this whole new email strategy of 3+. So I email the people on my list and the people that follow me on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I supplement that for the last 6 months. I've been supplementing it with a free report that comes out each month. The report that's been out now for almost a month is how I was able to work 3 days a week. And a big key component of that is being able to charge what you're worth. Being a coach for as long as I have, that's a real big hang up, Jeff, that a lot of people have is being able to charge what they're, I'm only going to give them this many calls, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to. But what I say is you want to charge by the transformation. So I detailed that when I was able to increase my fees as a coach to being priced more as an investment on transformation and not how many calls you get, that really changed everything. Right. So the report is charge what you're worth and work 3 days a week. So I wrote the report and I said, where am I going to put this? On getjimpalmer.com? No. So I just searched a few and I couldn't believe work3daysaweek.com was available. So I got it, and that's where people download it.
Out there. And folks, right down there is the link, work3daysaweek.com. And
it's free.
It's free. It's a 26-page guide to exactly what Jim's talking about. And something he left out that I want to mention, the reason he has the right to do this, he's been working 3 days a week for how many years now?
7 years.
So you didn't just hear this idea by the domain name and you're talking about it. You've been doing it
I've been doing it
longer than a lot of people have been online.
And honestly, one of the questions I first get is, was it scary? Hell yes, it was scary. Are my coaching clients going to rebel? Some of them rebelled when I took off Fridays. Well, I like Friday. That's my day. Well, you can work with me Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And I held to it. And I didn't lose anybody. But when you shift the habits and the patterns of people that have been working with you for a while, there's going to be a little disruption. Like, remember that book, Who Moved My Cheese? Well, I ended up moving the cheese twice.
Yeah, I remember sitting in an Applebee's with somebody in Tallahassee that was, doing a lot of training and stuff. And I was talking about upping my fee as a counselor, right? From 100 to 125.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, no, make it 150. And that scared me to death. I'm going to lose all these people.
Yeah.
And he said, well, how many sessions does it take you to make $600 at $100? And I said, 6. He goes, how many sessions will it take you to make $600? Yeah. And so you could lose a third of your customers and still be where you are. And I
That's
went
right.
back to my office and changed everything. So yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's take a look at this. I'm going to leave the link up. Let's take a look at charge what you're worth and work just 3 days a week. This is what we're going to, this has been a cool week at the show because we repurposed a checklist the other day. Today we're repurposing a lead magnet into a
I love
product.
checklists are great lead magnets, as you
Oh,
know,
they are.
Jeff.
They are. And you could, that's one thing you could pull out of here. So the intro, I love this, that this is not just thrown together. I love how you're doing this. But the main two things are charging what you're worth,
And how to do that.
right? Okay, here we are. Dream business. Yeah. I love that idea. This is nicely done.
That's about a solid 2 weeks worth of work, like every day for at least an hour, if not two. Because you know, I learned something when I wrote my first book, Jeff. The editor said people generally only read the first 1/3 of a book. So you got to put all the good stuff up front, right? It's not like you build. Oh, here's the
Ooh, I
message,
like
right?
that.
It's got to be
I
up
like
front.
that.
But the other thing she told me is you've got to hook them right off the bat and then keep them interested. The way I tend to do that is talk conversationally and therefore write conversationally, but keep dropping some really good nuggets of wisdom, but also truth. In other words, I share some of the money mindset hangups I had because you know you got to meet people where they are, right?
Sure.
So you can connect with them.
Exactly. And so this is divided into charging what you're worth, this part right here. And then by doing that, you're able to work 3 days a week. I love it. Okay. Just this whole strategy you have of
And by the way, that doesn't have to be everybody's stress. Some people might be happy working 5 days a week, but only working 40 hours and not 80.
yeah. I mean,
Some people might want to work 4. It really depends on what you want hey, look at that. What you want your dream lifestyle to actually be.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the way to do it. You can pick, and either one is a winner. 3 days a week, 4 days a week, 5 days a week, less, whatever you want to do. Okay, so this is cool. Now, let's go over here and work some magic.
Okay.
Let me get a drink of water before we do that. So we've got the work 3 days a week PDF. And the first thing I want to point out that you may not have seen yet is, you know, you've done no hassle newsletters and no hassle articles and dream business. I mean, this is an entire business all by itself, Jim. Work 3 days a week. Okay. And you can either make it a new brand or just part of dream business. Okay. But to me, it's a whole new brand and income stream. I mean, think about it, folks. Y'all that are listening, let us know in the chat. Does the URL work3daysaweek.com get your attention? It sure got mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So using Medium traffic to drive traffic to the rest of your stuff. And what I'll start doing, Jim, because I know you got a pretty good guy running your Medium stuff. What I'll start doing is pulling stuff from this PDF and turning it into articles. Okay. That will send them to the PDF that will get them in all this other stuff. Okay. Now, I really think you have your next book here. You've got 6. You need to make it a good odd number. 7 is the magical number. So seriously, I mean, you didn't tell us everything about working 3 days a week and charging what you're worth, did you?
Interesting concept.
Okay. So you expand this, right? Maybe put in some case studies, some interviews, that kind of stuff. I'll be glad to be part of that. All right. So this is where it gets cool. Okay. Easily, this would be a 4-module course. Okay. The training modules would be charge what you're worth and work 3 days a week. Okay. How do you get 4 out of that? Well, the first one would be, I call it the Get Started Here module. And that's where you would give them a quick win. You know, maybe how to figure out, what do I got to do to make X?
Yeah. Right? Fast start. Love that concept.
Yep. And then you do the 2 modules. And then the 4th one is where to go from here, your next success steps. You kind of review, and kind of like you did at the end of the PDF here. The other thing I thought of is a 4-module interactive e-course. Okay. This is one of the first things I did way back in the day. It was called Multiple Streams of Article Income, Jim. And I would send people once a week this is all free. You could charge. We could charge for it now, of course, and I would suggest you do it. And I would send them a PDF with instructions and a video a week about what they're to do next. Okay, and this would be homework. They were to do the homework, send it back to me, and I'd make some, suggestions and changes and stuff. Send it back to them. So every week they're getting a taste of my coaching. Okay. Which led to them wanting to be, in my programs, right?
Okay.
Okay. So that's two ways to do a course. Now, you've already got how many levels of the dream business?
There's three
Okay.
levels in my coaching program.
Okay. I'm calling it the academy. That's your workshop.
That was my live event, which I've done 8 of, but then COVID hit and I got tired.
Yeah. Well, we'll do another one of those ones like we did in
Adam's really after me to do one in Vegas.
Really? No,
Yeah.
That's too far. That's only because he lives there.
That's right.
Like, you know where you need to do one. Seriously, okay? Because it's got the largest airport in the world, and
Atlanta.
it's super easy to get to. Is Atlanta?
Yeah.
And I'll show you all the cool places. Take you to my favorite barbecue place, Jim's Smoke and Q.
Oh, love
The
barbecue.
best ribs in the world, and they got to be good. One, because they're a hole in the wall, and two, on the side of their building is their slogan: "You can smell our butts for miles."
There you go.
You got to be good. Now, I'm always thinking about how do we move people to the ultimate in your coaching program, right? And so you already know the books do that. The interactive e-course would really give people a taste of your coaching. And so would, let me just ask the audience, y'all let us know in the chat. Would you be interested in a short-term membership about working 3 days a week? Okay. I know I sure would be, right? And so we're talking, it could be a lot of the short-term memberships I've done, Jim, are 12-week.
Okay.
And really all it is a PDF and a video. I created one about 12 years ago called Article Marketing for Beginners.
Mm-hmm.
And it was 12 weeks. All they got every week was a PDF and a video. Okay. And the thing I discovered is all I really needed to start was 1 week, right? I had 3, and I launched it on a Thursday, and then, just had to have another one by Thursday morning, right? Now, I'll admit there were some late Wednesday nights to make that happen.
Nothing like a deadline.
Yeah. But, it became a way for them to get a taste of me ongoing. And a lot of people are worried about, ongoing coaching, monthly stuff. But when they know it's short term, it's an easier sell.
So, Jeff, are you the 4-module interactive e-course? Is that recorded videos, or what are you suggesting there?
You could do it where it's you could do a lesson, a time. Let's say you did a 10-week thing or a 5-week thing or whatever. You give them a lesson, okay, in a PDF, and you have a video explaining it, and then telling them the homework assignment.
Okay.
They send it to you. You make comments. You send it back. Now, there's cool numbers here, because in all the courses I've done and across the board with students, I found that about 1/3 of the people that take a course with you are going to wind up in the coaching program.
Wow.
So if you've got, let's talk conservative. If you've got 10 people in a course, you're going to get 3 new members. You got 100 people in a course, you're going to get 33. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, even better numbers, these short-term memberships, and it's crazy. I haven't done one in a while, so I need to do this too. But I've done several, so I'm not talking, inexperienced here. When I've done short-term memberships, half of those people end up in the coaching.
Interesting.
So this one gets you 1/3. This one gets you 1/2. We'll have to figure out something to get you 75 or 100.
Yeah. And short term, you're saying is like a month or 2 months or even a few weeks.
The top for short term I think of is 12 weeks.
Okay.
And one of the ways you can do that, price that, is they can do it, you can do it monthly, right? And so Article Marketing for Beginners was a 12-week course, $37 a month, right? So $111. But the psychology behind that is you get people accustomed to paying you monthly.
Mm.
Okay. So they get used to this and this and this. Okay. So really all roads lead here, right? This is where you want people to end up.
Right.
Okay. So all of these roads lead there. And they don't, I mean, they can go from here to here. They can go from your book to here. They can go from Medium to here. The thing I really want you to walk away with is that this is a whole new brand for you and a whole new income stream.
Yeah, and it fits perfectly what I teach. I mean, I teach this to my students, my coaching clients now.
Yeah, I know. I'm one of those.
I know.
I know. So you getting a glimpse of the future here?
I think it looks awesome. So look, if I can ask a question, four
Yeah, please.
module interactive e-course and then work 3 days a week, short-term membership. What's the big difference in those two?
Okay. It would be access to you,
Mm-hmm.
and it would be the depth of what you teach.
Okay.
This would be at one level. With the only access to you would be sending information back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In this one, the short-term membership, I would recommend doing it live.
Okay.
So they have direct access to you. Make sense?
Interesting. Yeah, it does. That's really interesting.
Well, both of them give people a taste of your coaching. This one just in writing and video. This one person to person. And the cool thing, the reason I love doing things live is one, you can sell it and then do it. Okay, so you're getting paid to create the membership, and then you've got something you can do all along. And two, people get to ask questions live and get answers, and they get to answer your questions to where they're shaping some of the course for them.
Right. Whenever I'm working with clients on, how to be an effective speaker, for example, especially with the sell from the stage format instead of just a round of applause and $250 stipend. It's like the one of the greatest areas of that is when you do your presentation and then you come back and you do a live Q&A. Every time I've been able to do that, I've added more sales.
Yep.
Because when you're kind of on the spot, I mean, if you've got to be a fairly quick thinker. If somebody asks a question, you don't want to go, So, but it allows you to show what your skill, talent, and brilliance is. Or as my friend Melanie says, it's when you're in your zone of genius and you keep dispensing the knowledge and the wisdom, that's attractive to potential coaching clients.
Oh, absolutely. And here's a little tip, folks, to make Q&As really work for you. Okay. Every time you answer a question, you bring them back to where you want to go. Okay. So if Jim answered a question about, the 3 days a week, short-term membership, he'd answer the question and say, and you can join the membership at blah, 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 blah. Okay. Wendy's telling us that she gets emails from Captain Jim. I don't recall when, but now I will pay more attention. Good, Wendy. Very good. I like that. I like that. All right. So we're going to wrap up here, bud. Any final questions or comments?
No, I'm intrigued. I mean, it's always interesting when you get on with fellow smart people, because sometimes you're so close to your business, you don't see opportunities. And it never occurred. Well, recently, about 6 months ago, I launched the How to Create Your Lucrative Virtual Mastermind, and I did a live component of that, which is very exciting, aside from the information they get normally. So yeah, this is very intriguing, Jeff. I appreciate it.
Talking about other people's eyes, I will give you and everybody else a preview of coming attractions. If I can make it go up there. There we go. And we'll get the screen back up. Amazing. I remembered to put the screen back up. I have such a screen sharing disability. This is the article I'm working on based on this show.
Okay.
How a lead magnet becomes a content empire, profiting from what's hiding in plain sight. And this is a Vanessa Williams song. I saved the best for last. Sometimes the very thing you're looking for is the one thing you can't see.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to take this like this here, and I'm going to open with this as a pull quote for your article after we get done here. How about that?
Very nice. Yeah.
So Jim, thank you for being here, being a great guest. I knew you would be.
Thank you so much for having me out.
You got to be on here 4 more times for us to be even.
I know you've been on my show, Dream Business Radio, 5 times, I think, over the last many years.
So we'll get you back once this stuff gets going and report on it. Okay.
Thank you very
So,
much.
folks,
And nice to see Wendy
yes, thank you,
chime
Wendy.
in there.
And so, folks, right down below here, okay, and in the chat is work3daysaweek.com. Whether you're listening to this live, watching it live, or on the replays, go there. Get work3daysaweek.com, where Jim will show you how to charge what you're worth, huge, and all the mindset that goes with that, and then how to work 3 days a week, because he's been doing it for 7 years. And as he and I talked about earlier, it's in some of my plans coming up too, because, you know, I mean, 3 days a week. So Friday through Monday, I could grab Duke here, who's next to me, throw him in the SUV and go hiking. It would not stink, and eat a lot of barbecue.
It doesn't stink. Takes
Yeah,
you honestly, if you have to get used to it. I'll tell you this really, really quickly. When I started doing it, I felt guilty. Like on Monday, Steph and I were traveling in the boat. We went over to this nice restaurant in the water. We're going back to the boat. And it's like Monday at 1 p.m. or 2. And I'm like, I feel guilty. Everybody else is working. So you have to, there is a mindset adjustment always. There's mindset adjustments from the time you start being an entrepreneur to the time you slow down. I won't say stop, because you never stop.
I think there's a lot of people here that would love to get used to that guilt and work with it. All right. Thank you, Jim. We're going to wrap up here, folks. As always, go use this stuff, and we'll catch you next time. Hey, everybody. Jeff back in the studio. And it's so funny. While you were watching the replay, Jim gave me a call. And so I'm talking to Jim, and I had to mute us. So I'm talking to Jim while watching us talk here. It was very, very strange. All right. You want to be in that profit seat, you go to jeffherring.com/apply, APPLY. So many things to lift out of the show today. Okay. You can create an e-course. You can create a course. And so the same material delivered by an e-course, it's a great way to interact with people, right? You send them a PDF, instructions, and a video. They do a piece of homework, and then they send it to you, and you make comments and improve it and send it back. Okay, so they've gotten a taste of your coaching. That's one of the things we talked about. And you very rarely hear anything about this one. And I think everybody needs to do these. I know I'm going to be doing a couple in the coming months, is a short-term membership. The 2 times I've done it, it's been 12 weeks, and it's been wonderful. And like we talked about on the show, the difference between a 4-week e-course and a 4-week short-term membership, or whatever the numbers are, in the e-course, they're having interaction with you, but it's all information. It's all video and text. Okay. In the short-term membership, if you do it live, like I prefer and like I recommend, they're having face-to-face interaction with you. And here's the really cool part, because all roads lead towards the membership site, right? So when whoever takes a course from you, whenever you have a course, about 1/3 of those people are going to wind up in your membership. When you do a short-term membership, about half of those people are going to wind up in your membership. So those are cool numbers and cool things to do. All right. We'll see you back this coming Monday for our next episode with Barbara Leone. And we will do more magic and turn more content into cash and more content into products and all kinds of cool things. And kids, you know what to do. Until then, go use this stuff.